Good afternoon, this is Dwayne from CFRN. Today is Monday, 20th day of August 2012. This will be video number 3 in our series, What If Trading Could Be Simple. If you've not already watched video number 1 and video number 2, I highly encourage you to at least go back and watch number 1. You should watch them both, but definitely watch 1. Otherwise, what I have to say in 3 will be confusing and or potentially make no sense. Go to cfrn.net/emini-news-blog. That's a little complicated to see the other videos, or this might be easier to remember, youtube.com/CFRN. Okay. Now, yesterday when I did the video yesterday, we got through. I've done 2 videos. In video number 1, we covered August 25th and 26th. I'm sorry, July 25th and July 26th in video number 1. And then in video number 2, we covered July 27th, which was a Friday, the 29th, which was a Sunday night Globex Open, and July 30th, which was a Monday. So we're going to pick up our recap with, as you can see here, July 31st. This vertical line on the screen highlights July 31st. Now, if you've already watched the other videos, everything I say will just fall into place. I've gone through and marked most of these up so that it won't take so long and be quite as grueling for you to get through. Okay? And all the questions that you have, trust me, I more than answer them in video 1 and partially in video 2. The very first trade on this day, July 31st, 2012. Again, I'm doing an entire month because it's tough to cherry pick days or hours out of a month when you do every hour of the day for an entire month, right? Okay. First trade, we never risk more than 2 points on this trade setup. Never. This trade got stopped out to the tick. What did that cost? 2 points. How do I know? Because we never risk more than 2 points on any trade using this trade setup. Okay. The entry for this trade would have been 1383, but because we use market if touched, the fill would be 1382.75, and the high over here is 1384.75. So that means you got stopped out to the tick. What does that mean, to the tick? Well, had it not been for that last one little tick right there, you'd have still been in this trade, and there would have been some profit to be had in the trade. How much? 0.75. But that's not what happened. -2. All right. The next trade setup is to go long, and our system tells us that we need to go long at 1382.25. There's never any ambiguity. We know exactly to the tick our entry price. Once again, 1382.25. Price goes to 1386. 3 3/4 points. That's what was on the table. That's what was available. Before I scroll past, if you haven't taken the free trial, this is where you go, cfrn.net/apply. A little hint, in the modern day web world, you don't really need the HTTPs, the colons, the backslashes, or the highly antiquated wwws. Just type in what you're looking for. Most browsers will just take you there. Okay. The next entry is to go short. We know that because price is below the CFMA1, and our system tells us sell 1384. Price travels 7 points in a southerly direction. Okay. Our system then says to go long. It's 79.75. Accounting for that one tick on the market if touched, there was all of 1 point available. Now, don't discount the power of a point. 2 points a day is an incredible living. That's all back in video number 1. So 1 point, it's 1 point. It might not work for you, but come hang out with us. You might find out how it can work for you. Okay? All right. On the next one, the entry was to go short at 13.77. Trade got stopped out. I know that some of the results on the first 2 videos looked too good to be true, and I said I was going to wait a couple days before I made another video, but I thought I'd go ahead and get another one out there just to bring an air of clarity to the whole thing. All right, and this is a brutal day. That trade got stopped out. Next, it tells us to go long at 13.7750. Trade gets stopped out. Here it tells us to go short at 73. Drops 2.5 points. Next tells us to go long at exactly 73 1/4, 1373.25. It runs up for 6 points. Next, we're told to go short at 1378.75. Market drops 1 3/4 points. We're told to buy 1379. You're getting the hang of this. We got stopped out. Here we were told to go short at 1378.75. The market dropped 4.5 points. Here we're told to go long at 1377 1/4. The market rallies 2 3/4 points. Over here we're told to go short at 73.50. That trade gets stopped out for how much? 2 points. Go long at 72.25. Told you it wasn't all roses. Okay. This one says to go short. The market disagreed. Over here we get a signal to go long at 73. Market rallies 1 1/4 points. Over here we're told to go short at 72.75, and the market drops 1 3/4 points. These add up. Okay. Over here we're told to go long at 75 1/4. Market rallies 1 3/4 points. Okay, here was a huge news event. I don't even remember what it was. Looks like 6:30 Chicago time. So some pre-market report that happened on August 2nd. You can go back and look and see exactly what it was and what it was about. We never trade in front of news events, but this thing would have had you going long. But it's so odd. It was so forceful. Look what happened. We actually had a color change right in the middle of it. So even though we would not have traded this in front of a news event, in all fairness, let's just call that we got stopped out. How much? 2 points. Now something this forceful, this is an instance where your stop could get jumped a tick or two. But that's one thing about the S&P 500 E-mini futures. They're so liquid that even if you were to get jumped 1 tick, 2 ticks, 3 ticks at the most, unless there was some really unusual conditions going on. So again, nothing more you can do with this than just call it a trade that got stopped out, aside from the fact that we don't trade in front of news. Okay, this trade here, and this is the type of follow-through stuff you can see with news. This trade gets stopped out, and this trade gets stopped out. Makes a pretty good case for not trading around major news. So let's go back and see, or you can go back and see what happened on that day and time at 6:30, August the 2nd. Okay, moving on. This one here pulls back, tells us to get short. No two ways about it. That trade gets stopped out. Okay? Alright. Okay, now we got to set up to go long. Tells us to go long at 13.51 1/4. Goes up to 13.62 1/2. So roughly 10 points. Then we're told by the system to go short at 13.61.75, and price in fact drops 1.5 points. Now remember earlier I pointed out the trade where we got stopped out to the tick, because we only risk 2 points per trade. Here we're told to get long at 13.62. There is a 1 3/4 point drawdown on this trade. In other words, one more tick and we would have been stopped out to the tick. But we didn't get stopped out to the tick on this one. We had a 1 3/4 point drawdown. Is that a nail biter? Yeah. If you're given to biting your nails, it is. So we have a drawdown, but we don't get stopped out. And this thing goes and goes. Now most people, okay, it said to buy at 13.62. By the time this thing hits 72, most people are looking for any reason in the world to get out of this trade. And right here where it ducks back below, if you weren't already out, you'd have sure been thinking about it right here. But does it stop there? Now notice that the CFMA1, the backbone of the CFRN indicator set, it never goes red during this entire move. It keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. And it actually runs 28 points. We do the entry to the tick. We had a drawdown of 1 3/4 points. One more tick and we'd have been stopped out to the tick on a trade that ultimately ran up 28 points. There was never a change in the color of the indicator. Stayed bullish all the way up. Is that a little unusual? Yeah, that's like the reverse unusual of that huge candle coming down on the news that stopped us out. Okay. The next trade is to go short. System tells us to go short at exactly 13.89 1/4. Price drops 4 1/4 points. And that's where I'm going to stop, because this is a Friday, August the 3rd. This is where the market closes. Market closes at 13.89.75 on a Friday. When we pick up with the next recap, we'll be talking about the Sunday night Globex Open on August 5th. See this day, right here, Friday, August the 3rd. Then we have a gap open Sunday night on Globex on the 5th. Then we pull back right here, and we get a nice little move up. But we'll talk about that in the next video. We're going to wrap this up. Let me scroll back just to make sure you have all the pertinent information. Of course, you could back the video up yourself, but there you go. To take the free trial, it's cfrn.net/apply. To go to our blog where all of these videos are, cfrn.net/emini newsblog. Or, really simple, youtube.com/cfrn. You'll find this video series along with a lot of other videos. And our daily recap video, which we have been doing every day for over a year now, you'll find those on our website under daily results, or you can shortcut over to youtube.com/emini futures trading. Okay, that's it. I hope to see you in the live trading room.